Welcome. Today, we are going to tackle one of the most practical, hands-on parts of Spanish, giving commands. You know, whether you're trying to share a recipe, give someone directions, or just ask a friend to do something, you're going to need the affirmative imperative. So let's get you commanding with confidence.
You ever find yourself in that spot where you really want to explain how to do something in Spanish, or maybe help a lost tourist find their way? Well, the exact tool you're looking for is called the imperative mood. It's really your key to giving clear, direct instructions. So first things first, what is the imperative? You hear the term command mood, and you might think it's all about being bossy, but really it's not like that at all. It's actually an incredibly friendly and useful tool that you'll use in everyday conversations. Okay, let's get just a little bit technical for a second. The imperative is simply the verb form you use when you want to tell someone to do something directly, and that can be anything from a serious order to just some friendly advice or a helpful tip. And this is where you really see how useful it is. I mean, think about it. You use it when you're following a recipe. Mix the flour, add the eggs. You use it when you're asking for help in a store or giving a friend some advice. And of course, it's absolutely essential for giving directions. It's the language of getting things done.
Let's start with the one you're going to use most of the time, the informal to command. This is your go-to when you're talking to a friend, a family member, pretty much anyone you'd normally call to.
And here is the best part, a fantastic shortcut that makes this whole thing so much easier. For most regular verbs, the to command is the exact same form as the he or she form in the present tense. That's it. If you know how to say he speaks, you already know how to tell someone speak. Just look at how this plays out. Take the verb hablar. In the present tense, él habla is he speaks. Well, that exact same word, habla, becomes your command. Habla. Same thing for comer. He eats is come, so the command is come. And for vivir, he lives is vive, so the command is vive. See? Super simple. So let's see what these look like in a full sentence. You might tell a friend, come la fruta, a simple, direct instruction. Or, if the room is getting a little warm, abre la ventana. And if you want to share a great song, escucha la música. They just feel so natural in these everyday situations. Okay, so that covers talking to one person. But what if you're in Spain and you're talking to a group of your friends? Well, for that, you're going to need the vosotros form. And don't you worry, this one has its own super simple rule too. It honestly doesn't get much more straightforward than this. To make the vosotros command, you just take the infinitive, that's the original form of the verb that ends in IR, and you swap that IR for a D. That's it. You can see the pattern right here. For hablar, you just drop the R, add a D, and you get hablad. For comer, it becomes comed, and for vivir, it's vivid. It's just a wonderfully consistent and easy little trick to remember. And here's how you'd use them. Picture you're at a dinner party. You could say, comed todos juntos, eat all together. Others, like escribid vuestros nombres, or cerrad los libros, are things you might hear in a classroom. It's all about clear communication with a group. All right, you've totally got the basic commands down. But now, what happens when you want to get more specific? How do you go from saying read the book to just read it? Well, that's where attaching pronouns comes into play. This is the next logical question, right? We need to figure out how to include words like it or them so our Spanish sounds way more efficient and, frankly, a lot more like how people actually talk. And the process is actually pretty straightforward. First, you start with your command, like come. Then you grab the pronoun you need, lo for a masculine thing, la for a feminine one. And then you just stick it right on the end. So come plus lo becomes comelo. Oh, and see that little accent mark? That often shows up to make sure the stress of the word stays in the right place. This before and after really makes it crystal clear. So lee el libro becomes the much smoother léelo. Compra la camisa turns into cómprala. And a super common one, haz el trabajo, becomes the very efficient hazlo. It's all about making your language punchier. And here's a perfect example from the real world. Hazlo y después hablamos. You can just hear how natural and direct that sounds, right? It's a phrase you will hear and use all the time. Do it, and we'll talk later. And now for the really fun part. Let's take everything we've just learned and put it all together to do one of the most useful things you can do in another language: give directions in a city. These 4 verbs are basically your survival kit for navigating a city.
Gira means turn, sigue is for go straight, cruza means cross, and toma is for take, like take the next street. If you master these, you can get anyone almost anywhere.
So here's what that looks like. Imagine someone asks you how to get to the museum. You can now say with total confidence, sigue todo recto y después gira a la derecha. Go straight ahead and then turn right. Bam! You've just given perfect, clear directions.
All right, so we've broken down the rules for the tú and vosotros forms, we've figured out how to attach pronouns, and we've even put it into practice. You seriously now have the core tools to give instructions in Spanish clearly and confidently. So you've got the theory, you've seen the examples, now it's time to actually make it yours. So think about it. What's the first simple instruction you can give in Spanish? It could be anything. Pásame el agua, or abre la puerta. The absolute best way to learn this stuff is to start using it.